whack it.
Yeah, that too.
We're gonna fall
Okay,
over.
wait.
Hey, it works.
How's that, Twyla?
Yes, we are.
Council, how's that?
Yes.
7 o'clock, I'd like to bring this meeting to order. Please rise for the Pledge of Allegiance. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Roll call, please.
Yes. Counselor Garrison?
Present.
Counselor Bickford?
Present.
Counselor Ward?
Here.
Counselor Pesky?
Here.
Welcome back.
Thank you.
Counselor La Rochelle?
Here.
Counselor Mason?
Here.
Counselor Lunt?
Here.
Full house, that's good. Next item, please.
Is for a public hearing, the liquor license and special entertainment permit for the Friends Lodge. And I believe Eileen Knight is here representing them.
I'd like to open that public hearing. Would you like to get up and introduce yourself, or if you don't have to, if you don't want to, it's totally up to you.
Yes, I am Eileen Knight, and we wanted to move the Friends Lodge here into Lisbon. We've been operating for over 6 years in Lewiston. And we're a private club, members only.
And the location is the old VFW
52.
196.
Correct.
Yeah. Thank you. So I have that public hearing open. If anybody has any comments or anything about the Friends Lodge.
I saw in our notes that there were some code conditions that had to be met, and I heard you guys were working on that as recently as today. Okay, awesome.
Anybody else from the public? Seeing none, we'll close that public hearing. Next item, please.
Is the public hearing for the shoreland zoning and map amendments.
I'd like to open that public hearing, and Don or Dennis, would either one of them like to speak? Dennis? Quick overview, real quick, like, doesn't have to be anything detailed.
I did it last time. I said I wasn't here for the first reading, but if anybody's interested, the actual map that's being, hoping to be adopted is right here, take a look at. Essentially, it's putting in the shoreline zoning map, which we've been required to have, and adding in some overlay districts within the shoreline zoning to allow for some development possibilities in certain areas from industrial, general development, and relaxing the standards on streams down to 75% setbacks, which will allow for shoreline zoning. So this is something, fixing what we should have had on the books already.
All right. Go ahead. And again, we've actually already gone through the first reading. This is a public hearing for the shoreline zoning, which actually has a lot of, will benefit the town quite a bit. Minimum impact to concerns that people would have. Any interest in the public hearing for this shoreline zoning? You would have to come up, because unfortunately, he actually probably should have come up, because no one probably could hear him, so.
Why do I have to?
Because there's people in the audience that sometimes say they can't hear what actually is said, so if people come forward, then that way there, they can actually be heard. I can't imagine who those concerns would be from, you know.
I can't imagine either. Dot Fitzgerald, resident, longtime resident of Lisbon Falls. Looking at the map, the blue line must be the Androscoggin River, but I see a lot of red lines. Those must be streams and tributaries or whatever.
Correct. Yeah, streams, brooks.
If I have to, you have to, Dennis.
Yes, you'll see the other lines are locating these streams and brooks.
And
throughout
the
town.
green little lines,
The green is resource protection, which has always been in place,
Okay.
showing the resource protection around the major arteries,
yeah.
and then the reduced setbacks around the streams and the brooks.
Okay, it looked like red, but more purple. Thank you, Dennis.
Okay.
Thank you, Dot.
Thank you.
Any other questions or comments for the public hearing? Seeing none, we'll close our public hearing. Next item, please.
Is audience participation. At this time, those in the audience who wish to address the council may come forward to address items or issues that are on the agenda for this meeting. Please use the microphone at the podium.
I'd like to open audience participation. No takers tonight. We'll actually close audience participation.
Okay. And the next is audience participation response.
And none tonight.
All right. So we'll move to the consent agenda. Any counselor wishing to have any item removed may do so now. Items removed from the consent agenda can be considered next.
I would like to remove one. It would be C, the liquor license for Good Time Lanes.
Okay. Are there any
Basically-
objections?
Basically, just for more information needing for the permit.
Yes. Yeah. We did not have a chance to complete this application process in time for the meeting, so thank you very much for removing it. Are there any objections? Seeing none. Order 2013-92, to approve the liquor license and special entertainment permit and games of chance for the Friends Lodge, an off-premise catering permit for the Slovak Catholic Association, and the minutes of June 18, 2013.
I'll make that motion.
A second.
All those in favor?
Order passed, 7-0. Thanks.
Next item, please.
Under Council Orders, Resolutions, and Ordinances, Order 2013-93, 42 Davis Street Water Line.
Ryan, I believe, is here to give us some details on this. Some insight on it.
Yeah, as you most all remember, the resident at 42 Davis Street had come to us with concerns about well contamination due to salt. This followed up from some of the Route 9 issues that we had to deal with. We did hire a hydrologist back in 2011 to do some evaluation for us, and it was determined that it really neither confirm nor deny if the contamination had come from the salt storage facility at the Public Works garage, but based on the evidence that he found, it was reasonable to assume that that was a responsibility of the town. It's something that we've talked about in the past and we ended up budgeting for, so we got moving on that first thing, and I put out a bid for horizontal directionally boring to make that connection. We advertised, we only got one bid. It was from ETTI for $14.90 a linear foot, which is essentially the same price he gave us when he looked at the project with us, just to give us an idea what the ballpark would be so we could do the budget. So at this point, I recommend that we award that project to ETTI so we can get that scheduled this summer and get the work done.
You actually had a price that was just under 10,000. Is that 10,000 number just a fair value that we could use? It would be less than that, though, most likely.
It's based on, the original estimate was 660 linear feet, so it's like $9,900 something dollars. It was
10,000, pretty much.
pretty much.
Okay.
So, I mean, and I would just award based on the $14.90 per linear foot. And, you know, we'll see what we get into when we actually do the drilling. That'll give us a little bit of leeway if they run into some problems.
Any questions from council? And we had discussed this at length, and it's been a while coming, and it's been a very patient person waiting for this to happen, so Mr. Sherback, we appreciate that. I'd entertain a motion to accept the bid for $14.90 per linear foot
I'll make that
from
motion.
ETTI.
I'll second it.
All those in favor?
Order passed, 7-0.
Thank you, Ryan. Next item, please.
Order 2013-94, renewal sludge disposal contract.
This is, our original contract was established in October of 2008, and it was a 5-year contract, which is essentially going to expire in October, and Casella came to us and wanted to renew the contract for an additional 2 years with a couple one-year extensions after the fact, at essentially the same terms and conditions of the original one. For reference, in 2008, we were paying $86.50 a ton, or a yard, excuse me, for disposal, and our current is $90.78. So in 5 years, I mean, we're only paying just over $4, you know, more per ton, per yard for disposal. We've had no problems with the contract. And one of the things that was not included in our original contract, which they allowed us to take advantage of this year, is we get 30 yards of compost from them. They'll deliver it free for us. So they bring it, drop it at the treatment plant when they come and pick up a can of good
Waste.
stuff. And we used that quite a bit last year. We mixed it in with some loam and used it around some of the gardens and areas where kids weren't playing, was the recommendation. So I'd recommend we renew that contract with Casella.
Now, just for question's sakes, I mean, I realize we usually just do it's kind of a blanket a renewal contract. Is there any dollar values that go along with this, or maximum limits, or anything that we should be put in place?
I mean, we budgeted $80,000, $86,000, something like that in the sewer department budget. I mean, it's based on
Usage?
usage. There's built into the contract, there's an index that they use for an increase, and that's why, I mean, like I said, the historical increase, it's been less than $1 every year that it's increased, so, and we don't see any changes to that. We do get some fuel surcharge based on when fuel gets to a certain level, but again, none of that's really been too difficult for us.
Any questions from council?
Their prices are in line with other companies that do similar things, so
I mean, yeah, this company was picked in 2008 when we had to go away from where we were before because it was no longer going to be able to accept the sanitary sludge. And at the time, and we put out a full RFP and whatnot, and I think, pretty sure these are the only people that even bid on it. And this is, whenever we pump out stuff, that's where we go to dispose of it anyway. I mean, there aren't a lot. The Clean Harbors would probably be about the only other option, I think, for us. And I'm not sure what.
Not a cheaper option, though.
No.
Well, I mean, based on, and again, based on
Yeah.
the luck, the success of the contract we've had now, I mean, it's
It's been worked
been
pretty
great to
well.
work with, yeah.
So I would entertain a motion to accept the renewal contract for Costello Organics.
I move that we accept that.
Second that.
All those in favor?
Order passed, 7-0.
Thank you.
Thank you, Ryan. Next item, please.
Order 2013-95, Moxie Street closures.
These we do every year. This one is before the Moxie Festival. We close these streets, the same streets every single year. We just need your approval to do that.
I just want to add something to this. I talked with Ryan about this today. Number 5, the closure of Capitol Avenue from 6 a.m. to 12. And that would mean the transfer station would be unavailable at that time, but it will be opening at 12, and actually maybe a little bit before that, depending on how quickly the parade moves out. So residents know that they won't be able to get rid of their trash that morning, but they will that afternoon.
Question, does the businesses in the Capitol Avenue aware of that? I imagine it's for local traffic, but I mean, I'm not sure if, is that something we actually make them aware of it by letter or by notification, or?
I'm not sure. I mean, it's something we've done for years and years, so I would assume that they know that. And most of the businesses that are there have been there at least a year or two,
Okay,
so.
I was just kind of curious if some people actually have anything scheduled, not saying they would, but it may be just a nice courtesy, just if we could, just to make them aware of it, just in case they're not. Sometimes it's just better to know ahead of time, that's all.
Oh, absolutely, yeah.
Any questions from council on the road closures? I'd entertain a motion to accept the road closures as listed.
I'll make that motion.
I'll second it.
All those in favor?
Order passed, 7-0.
Next item, please.
Order 2013-96, Moxie Day ATV ride.
And this is something new this year, but just need your approval to close these off so the ATV group can run through.
You want to give a brief description there,
This
Roger?
will be, it's for the ride, and we didn't close off at 1 PM until the ride ends, which is probably an hour, no more than 3 o'clock, I wouldn't believe. And, but it just, with the police department escorting us is fine, but we might get a rogue warden that doesn't like the idea, so we have to do this.
Mm-hmm. So pretty much, this isn't actually a road closure, it's more of a road usage approval, so.
Approval.
Entertain a motion from the council to approve the Moxie Day ATV ride road schedule as listed.
I move that we accept that.
I'll second it.
All those in favor?
Order passed, 7-0.
Next item, please.
Order 2013-97, Public Works Teamsters Local Number 340 contract.
And that's what we'll have to wait
We'll
until.
come back to that after executive session.
Next item, please.
Ordinance 2013-98, the Shoreland Zoning and Map Ordinance Amendment. Be it hereby ordered that the Town Council of the Town of Lisbon hereby adopts the proposed zoning map, along with adding a new division, number 10, entitled Municipal Shoreland Zoning in Article 6, Supplementary District Regulations in Chapter 70 Zoning, as presented. This is the second reading. A roll call vote is required.
Any questions from council on this? We've actually been fairly aware of what's happening with this. There's a lot to this. I mean, there's nothing that's going to affect the town drastically. It may improve some of our ability to work with the shoreline, especially with the mill projects. One of the questions I had, maybe Dennis, I mean, once we approve this tonight, how long does this take before it goes into effect? Because there is some other approval that needs to go with this. State approval, or?
Once it's approved through town council, we send a testing copy to the state. I think they have 90 days to turn it around. I have spoken with the person, and he's just waiting to see it, said he'd get right back to us.
Perfect.
How long, I can't tell you, but they do have up to 90 days.
Okay. Entertain a motion to accept?
Make that motion.
Second.
All right, so what we're voting on is the idea of approving the ordinance, a shoreline zoning and map amendment. All those in favor?
We'll do a roll call vote.
Roll call, sorry about that, Twyla.
Okay.
Keep me straight.
We'll begin with Counselor Lunt.
Yes.
And Counselor Mason.
Yes.
Counselor LaRochelle.
Yes.
Counselor Ward.
Yes.
Counselor Pesky.
Yes.
Counselor Bickford.
Yes.
And Counselor Garrison.
Yes.
7 yeas, 0 nays, order passed.
Thank you. Next item, please.
Order 2013-98A, non-union wages.
We'll address that after executive session.
Okay. So the next item would be under other business at the Sewer Water Utility Committee meeting update.
I can actually give a quick overview of that. We actually had that last night. There was a few councilors there, which is really good to see. Actually, a good portion of the councilors. The full Water Commission, we actually had a couple guest speakers last night. We actually had some citizens join us that are going to help us along with the proceedings. So just to give a quick reference of where we are, this is a kind of a joint venture with the Water Department and the town to actually consider making a water sewer district, which after last night, we may even add on to that a little bit with our stormwater. It all depends. It sounded like there were some good opportunities out there. Right now, we're in the fact gathering part of it. We're going to have a meeting usually at the beginning of every first Monday of every month. So if anybody is interested, they come and sit and listen. And it's an interesting, I'm learning quite a bit as we go through, and I think everybody is. So we actually have some unique stuff here in town, and hopefully we're going to try to make it a little bit more ordinary, and we'll see how this goes. And our intent is to actually come up with some type of plan that we can put on the November ballot so people can vote if this is the direction they want to go. But besides that, it's just a work in progress, and I think so far it's working pretty well. I'm not sure I'm speaking for myself, but some of the councilors were there last night. I think it's the communications are going quite well. Next item, Twyla.
Town Manager's Report.
Just an update on the Library Career Center. We've kind of coined a name for it, the Lisbon Career Development Center. Tracy Steuben and Diane Netto have been working hard. They will be working with AvCog, one of their people, as well as a contracted employee whose specialty is resume development, interviewing skills. They are expecting to do a kickoff and have a ribbon cutting, according to Tracy, for August 1, or sometime the first week of August. It looks like it's going to be Tuesdays and Thursdays in the afternoons. Thursdays, I think, is a later day of the library, or Tuesdays. So it'll be probably 4 hours on one day and 4 hours on the other, 8 hours a week. So look for that if you're looking for jobs or need help with resume writing, interviewing skills, or just learning how to search for jobs online. It's going to be a great program. Revenue sharing, we got some numbers from the state. We will be losing $246,951, which is about $40,000 less than what we thought we were going to lose, which was, I guess, if there's anything good about it, that's a good thing. The other good note is that the school also got an increase in their subsidy of $139,775, which means the town portion will reduce by that much. So looking at a tax rate increase, obviously, but more in the vicinity of maybe 75 cents versus $1.25 that we were originally looking at. So that's a good thing, I guess. The 196 Master Plan is a joint meeting with the council next Thursday, and the steering committee and the planning board. Amanda will be presenting information that she's collected and talking about some low-hanging fruit, long-term, short-term goals that everybody will have to set from the council and steering committee and planning board. Will be providing some renditions of certain areas, so you can look at some things, what it could be. It should be a pretty interesting meeting. The town office will be open on July 5th. It will be closed that Thursday, but we are open the next day, so if you have business to do, we'll be here at our regular hours. And I got a last-minute notice from Diane today that first day of her reading program, she had 57 children and 28 parents show up.
Wow.
And she has 145 children registered. It's a two-day different group, so pretty impressive. She does a
Absolutely.
great job. That's all I
think
have.
Just backed up from years
You
of
want,
good.
yeah.
Yep,
You want to do the Moxie while under my report?
absolutely, yep.
Deb, you're up.
What we wanted to do is we wanted to give an opportunity, since we're so close to Moxie, is give you kind of an update where we are at Moxie, because it's a happening thing. It's going to happen. And Deborah's going to give us just a quick overview of kind of the happenings in Moxie.
Okay, well, first of all, on behalf of the Moxie Festival Committee, I want to thank the council for your support in this festival. It takes a lot, and as we grow bigger, which is very exciting, there are a lot more details and a lot more reasons for you to be very much involved in what we're doing. But we're very, very excited. I mean, we have Linda Bean coming to town on Friday night for the recipe contest, judging along with some other celebrity judges. We have the new ATV event. I mean, we have a vendor, Pinky D's, who's getting their own media. I mean, Channel 6, Channel 8, they're all coming to see what Pinky D's is going to do at the Moxie Festival. So we're getting buzz that we don't even know about. And so it's all coming together, and I don't know if you have any questions or concerns about.
If you could just give us kind of a quick rundown of the larger events, from the fireworks, maybe just an overview. I mean, you don't have to give it full detail, but.
Okay, well, on Friday night, there will be the Amalia Dance Studio students give a performance in Midtown Plaza. We have a concert, and then we're having the recipe contest at Chummy's. Because one of our commitments is to try to help local businesses, participate in the festival and get some publicity from it. The Bath Municipal Band will be playing at the high school. Public Safety Department has Touch a Truck event for kids, and then followed by the fireworks. Saturday morning, Mark Stevens was telling us he's had the largest number registered as of this date. So we're anticipating we're going to get close to maybe 600-700 runners for the 5K. Kids 5K is always well attended. Gina Mason's been working really hard on the parade. It looks like we're going to have 100 entries and lots of floats, lots of orange, lots of excitement about the parade. Our Grand Marshals, Olympia Snow, so we're very excited about that. And then, like I said, we have this vendor group that is getting really Moxie. I mean, we're getting these unusual vendors who are going to do old-fashioned soda. Kids can make old-fashioned sodas and do all sorts of different activities, or have somebody's going to make a hamburger with a pancake. I don't know how that's going to work out, but in any case, it's getting a lot of buzz that our vendors are doing, which helps pay for the festival. At the MTM Center, for the first time, we're going to have games. We're going to have kids' games that will benefit the Maine Children's Cancer Program. So the festival paid for the games, but all the money raised will go to Maine Children's Cancer. And we're going to have a free petting zoo. We wanted to do something free for the kids in town, and so we're going to have a free petting zoo and a big inflatable slide. And we will have concerts throughout the day at MTM, and the Moxie concert in the park with Twice Shy will be at 6 o'clock. That's an 80s band. Sunday, we have the car show. Mark's, once again, getting a lot of registration, so we're getting a lot of interest, people bringing cars to so that's behind the high school. And then the river race will happen again, so we're getting registrants, and that's all going according to plan. But I am remiss to have not mentioned the powwow. I met with Chief Rick the other day, and he's going to move his powwow back behind the high school. So there is something to do in Lisbon all 3 days. And really interesting things, and probably more Moxie than you'll have all year. Is there
And the
anything
rain's gonna
else?
stop, right?
Pardon me?
And the rain's gonna
And
stop.
the rain's got, well, rain or shine, we'll go on.
Good deal. Any questions from council about Moxie?
I have a comment. I've worked closely with Deb for the past several years, and I can tell you that Deb has brought the Moxie Festival to the world. We had some great contacts before Deb came on board, but Deb has gotten us in major newspapers across the country and even some small bits throughout the world. And we've been in major publications, major magazines, and I have to give that all to Deb. Deb's done a great job with newspapers. She's done a lot with the media. She's got interviews set up for many of us next week. During Moxie, they come in, they do the 5K, and Deb's there to help other people that are participating to do interviews with media, and people are hyped about it from all over. I don't know if you recall, but the person who provided our theme this year is actually from Texas. And he did live in Lisbon a portion of his life many years ago, but he actually is in Texas. So Moxie's big news across the country and across the world, and we have to thank Deb for that.
Thank you. It's a great story. You can't do it, if the story's not worth it, it's not working with people, it won't go anywhere. So, but it's a great story. It's a great town. It's such a wonderful thing for Lisbon. When I go to Positive Change Lisbon, and, you know, people grapple with really big issues in our town, and I say, oh, I wish you all could be on a phone call with me. When people say, Lisbon is so great, I love to come to the festival. The town is great, the people are great, and I just think it's really wonderful, and that's why all of the dedicated volunteers who work on the committee and the nonprofit groups that benefit from the festival, you know, we love it, and we love Lisbon, and, okay.
We thank you
That's
very
it.
much. We appreciate that. Yep.
Excellent committee, excellent group. They all work hard, including one of our counselors here. I see them here during the day, sometimes working hard. And for where we were last year at this time, it's quite impressive where we are today. I think it's good leadership, so.
Good. Is that all good for your?
Yep, I'm all set.
Perfect. Next item, please, Twyla.
Under appointments, Order 2013-99, the Appeals Board, need one member. The term expires June 30th, 2016.
I believe the first application we have is for Richard Long for both the Board of Appeals and Conservation Committee. Is it just for the one of those, Twyla, or is it for both?
He's applying for both. You can take him up as a Board of Appeals at this point.
I think it's just the Board of Appeals.
Just Board of
And do Board
Appeals?
of Appeals.
I'd entertain a motion to accept his application.
Make the motion to accept.
I'll second it.
All those in favor?
Order passed, 7-0.
Next one, Twyla.
Order 2013-100, the Planning Board. No. This one? Yeah, Planning Board. One associate member, term expires June 30th, 2016. You have one application from Tyler Goletti. Is that it?
Tyler
Or-
has been fairly active initially, running for council, then he actually became on the 196 master plan, so he's quite familiar with the activities of the planning board, and I think he was just waiting for a bigger opportunity to jump in, so I'd entertain a motion to
I'll make
accept.
a motion.
I'll second it.
All those in favor?
Order passed, 7-0.
Does that actually complete our planning board at this point? We are full at this point, right? When things happen in planning board, it doesn't take long to fill up the spots, that's for sure.
We're having fun.
They're having fun.
They have a good chair, so
They do. Very busy having fun. Next item, please, Twyla.
Order 2013-101, the Conservation Commission needs one member. Term expires June 30th, 2016.
And this is actually Calvin, so this
He's
is
been the
actually
chair of the committee. He's done a great job.
reappointment.
Reappointment.
This is a reappointment. Entertain a motion.
I'll make a motion.
I'll second it.
All those in favor?
Order passed, 7-0.
Next
And
item,
then
please.
Order 2013-102, the Recreation Committee, 2 members, terms expiring June 30th, 2016. We have 2 applications, Dan Lehman and Stephanie Dowdy.
Are these
These are Stephanie's a renewal.
renewal?
Renewals as well, yeah.
Yep.
Yeah,
both
both are.
Both renewals.
I'll
Entertain a motion.
move that we accept both applications for renewal.
I'll second it.
All those in favor?
Order passed, 7-0.
And I appreciate all the volunteer and help for all these committees. Definitely well needed. Next item, please.
Council communications.
Yeah, I guess.
Go ahead.
I wish to thank the council on behalf of Mr. Sherback for his water supply. And I'm going to make a pitch for my ATV ride since I'm on television. 1 o'clock around the outskirts of the beautiful town of Lisbon. You'll see everything from a junkyard to the river to farmlands.
You'll see it all.
See it all.
Good deal. And if there's any questions some people have on that, they can contact who?
Then contact me or anybody on the Moxie committee.
On the Moxie Committee. And could be 5, could be 500, we don't know yet.
Right, we don't know.
We'll find out.
I know there's gonna be more than 5.
Oh, I know that, yeah. Is that it?
Yep.
Yep. Any other communications?
I have one, I just want to add a little bit to what Deb said. The recipe contest has changed this year, and we have somebody else that's in charge of it. Julianne Balmer, she's a Lisbon resident. She's been away from town for 10 years, but she's become very involved again. And the contest is at Chummy's on Friday evening, and I have cards here. If anybody's interested, it just gives you a little bit more information about the contest and how it's all going to work. And we do have some celebrity judges, and they have some swag bags they're going to be giving away with a lot of Maine products in them. So if it's something you're interested in, you're welcome to come up and grab one of these when you're done. I might be able to answer a few questions for you, but if not, you can contact Julianne, and all her information is on the card.
Any other communications?
Yeah, I just have one. For those of you that don't know, Officer Jeffrey Williams is no longer with the police department, so I just want to publicly thank him for his efforts in our community and what he has brought to the streets. So, thank you.
I don't know if anybody else has noticed, but I think Public Works has been obviously gearing up for Moxie, and the town is really shaping up and looking nice. And I actually one day had a couple of people approach me about the same pothole, oddly enough. But Ryan already had it on the list to be taken care of, and so I think they're doing a really great job, so.
Just to wrap things up for the communications, we during the 196 master plan, we've been actually looking, and we've had a lot of input, and sometimes we spend lots of time beating up our town for the way it looks and stuff. But if besides the rain, if you actually drive through town, there is a lot of people doing a lot of good things in front of their homes, and the landscaping and flowers, and from the Varillas group taking care of the parks, and
Doing a great job.
And Faye and the whole group taking care of the flower areas. It's actually a pleasure to drive through town. I mean, there is a lot of this time of year things full out, and we actually have our town actually looks quite nice. It needs some room for improvement, but actually so I give thanks to all the people out there that are really working hard to make the 196 look as nice as it did and off 196. But again, sometimes we spend plenty of times beating up what we have, but if you really look around, we do have a lot of nice looking homes, a lot of nice looking yards, and people do take a lot of pride in their homes, so we thank you for that. Next item, Twyla.
Executive session, order 2013-103N4 to go into executive session per 1 MRSA Section 405-6D, labor negotiations, Public Works wage reopener, and Section 405-6C, economic development for Miller Industries.
Entertain a motion?
I'll make the motion to go into executive session for 103 and 104.
I'll second that.
All those in favor?
Order passed, 7-0.
We will be coming out to take a vote, hopefully, and we will be holding it in council chambers, so we'll probably take a 5-minute recess, then we'll come back and continue with those.
I've got a comment. It's in downtown Lisbon for the Moxie Festival. Driving by the high school, that wreath and at the monument, the Veterans Monument, is dead. I wish somebody would